Hello, I'm Dr. Nick, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about how your headspace or your emotions or your thoughts can affect the physiology of your body. To do that, I'm going to use the example of anger and digestion. I'm going to talk about how anger can affect your digestion. Once I've gone through this video, hopefully you can understand how your thoughts could affect other parts of your physiology as well. But I'm going to try to stick to anger and digestion today. So before I get started, I want to talk a little bit about the part of your being that controls your digestion, that controls the function of your digestion, and that's going to be your subconscious mind. Subconscious mind is the part of the brain that you do not consciously command. Okay, so you don't say, like when you're breaking down foods, you don't eat something and then think to yourself, okay, I want to release this exact amount of digestive enzymes, secrete hydrochloric acid in these exact amounts to break down this protein into amino acids, and then you don't tell your intestinal tract exactly what to do to absorb the nutrients and utilize them to build new tissues. That's just not how it works. So that's an example. What I'm trying to portray here is the function of the autonomic nervous system, or the subconscious mind. With the autonomic nervous system, you have two types of tones. There's parasympathetic and there's sympathetic. With parasympathetic, you're more in a rest, digest, relax type of nervous system. With sympathetic, it's more fight or flight. So to expand, with sympathetic, you're going to be in more of a fight or flight state, and when that happens, blood leaves your digestive tract. You have less blood going to the digestive tract, and that causes a decrease in gut function. And with that, you'll have decrease in motility, so the smooth muscles that are making up your intestinal tract that will move food through the digestive tract and also mechanically break it down aren't going to be functioning as well because they're not going to have as much stimulation or blood flow to run. You're going to have decreased ability to repair tissues if there's any damage in that area. You're not going to be able to absorb nutrients as well. Also with fight or flight, you'll also experience decreased saliva production in the mouth. With saliva, that's like one of the beginning places where we start to break down carbohydrates with salivary amylase. And when you have decreased saliva, your ability to digest carbohydrates gets impaired. Also with increased sympathetic tone, you also notice tight muscles in the body. Real common place for the muscles to get tight is in the pectoralis muscles, and people will start to get this like rolled forward shoulder. They'll get tense. They're like ready to fight, ready to go, ready to run. That also can lead to like forward head posture, which I get a lot of people coming into my chiropractic office because they might have a bit of a dominance with sympathetic tone in the body. Also with sympathetic tone, another thing that happens is your heart rate gets increased, and the muscles of your cardiovascular system also constrict. So not only is your heart rate up, but your blood vessels are constricting, so your heart's beating really hard and it's fighting the constriction in the blood vessels, and this causes an increase in blood pressure. So this is a real common cause for high blood pressure in people. On the other side of the coin, with parasympathetic tone, you're going to have increased blood and activation to all the digestive tissues. So when that happens, you're going to do a better job at breaking down your foods and absorbing the nutrients from them. You're going to have an improved ability to repair any damaged tissue in that area. And you're also going to have an increase in secretions of digestive juices and enzymes. So you're going to have increased saliva production. You're going to have improved secretions of hydrochloric acid in the gut, and bicarbonate to neutralize that hydrochloric acid when the foods leave the stomach. You're also going to have an improved production of digestive enzymes from the pancreas, as well as improved insulin production. So this is a really important thing. Sympathetic tone is really important if anybody has any blood sugar dysregulation or problems with their digestive system, which is a really common thing that I see in my office. So the next thing I want to talk about, so that's a cover of sympathetic versus parasympathetic. Now what I want to talk about is the types of anger, okay? So it can show itself in all different ways, all right? So anger can show up as irritability, you can be sensitive, you can be outright angry, you can be in a state of rage, you can have hatred, you can feel feelings of revenge. So those are the different types of anger. With emotions of anger, what happens? This is the connection between the anger and the decreased digestive function. Is with anger there is a perceived perception of danger in the brain, right? And when the brain perceives some sort of danger or problem, it gets into a fight or flight mode. It thinks you need to fight something or run away from something. And that is what triggers our autonomic nervous system to go into a sympathetic state. That's one of the triggers. It's a very common trigger for it. So when you're experiencing anger, you're also experiencing an increase in sympathetic tone. It's also, I'll say that when you're angry, it uses up a lot of energy, and it's a very useless expenditure of vital and mental energy. So what are some ways to deal with this? Well, solutions could be to mentally slow down when you eat. Okay, so when you're eating food, it's really important to sit there, be there, think about your food. When you think about your food, it starts to make your mouth water. That's a first sign. That's a real sure sign that you're entering parasympathetic tone. It starts to get your digestive system activated and ready to do its job. It stimulates the vagus nerve to activate the digestive system as a whole. And you also, when you do this, when you slow down, you'll get a lot more nutrients out of your food. So you're actually throwing away money. You're not getting all you can when you're sitting down eating upset. Also, you don't want to really eat when you're on the go, like driving down the street. Sometimes you got to do it. I get it. But if you can avoid it, do it. It's really important. Another solution is the book Rays of the Dawn. Book Rays of the Dawn, we study that. I study that in book club at my office every Thursday night at 7:15. And I'm just going to make a plug for it. You are welcome to join anytime you want. But with Rays of the Dawn, we study emotions like anger. And it helps you understand when you're in that state of anger. And the interesting thing about anger is it is a function of the conscious mind, right? And digestion is a function of the subconscious mind. With the conscious mind, we have control over our thoughts. So if you can realize that you're in a state of anger and it's affecting your subconscious mind, well, the good news is that you can shift out of anger. And in Rays of the Dawn, the author Dr. Fleet talks about how you can shift out of anger into a state of patience. So rather than getting angry with a situation, you can choose to be patient and work through it in that way. That's a challenge for me sometimes, but just constantly working on it like everybody else. So hopefully after watching this video, you can understand a little bit about how anger causes your body to be in a state of sympathetic tone, which decreases your ability to digest, right? And to reiterate really quickly, emotions like anger create this perception of danger in our body, and that causes our autonomic nervous system to go into a state of fight or flight, sympathetic tone. So I highly recommend that if you have something going on with your digestive tract that you're trying to work out, or if you care about your health, the long-term maintenance of your health, then I would add into your daily habits tending to your mental space. Not just worrying about only diet and exercise, but also being mindful of what's happening in your head. It's just as important as what's going on, what you're putting in your body, and how you're using your body. So I hope this was helpful for you. If there's any other topics that you'd like me to cover, please let me know. You can write suggestions in the comments below. Have a wonderful day.